in a reality show or not, when you're in high school or whatever school, and you find those mean girls, they'll find anything to pick on because you drive the nice car. Oh, you drive the nice car, and they'll find something to critique on the nice car because you have good friends, or because you're pretty, or because you have this. You know what? It's insecurities, I would say, on their part. It's you know, I don't have what you have, so I'm going to try to bring you down with other people that won't even bother looking at the good. They'll just look at my critique and listen to me and say, yeah, that's right. Yeah, she's too nice.
It's like jealousy. It's jealousy too.
Yeah. And you just have to be comfortable with yourself. I will tell you, one of the best experiences that came out of the show for me was, all my life, people have known me since I was a little girl. I've always been like you, a positive person, a happy person. I'm human. Things would affect me. So I'm not going to tell you that 100% of the time I was always happy.
Right.
You know, things affected me and I would be sad one day, and then, or maybe 2 days. And then I would be like, Karen, pick up. You know what? Life goes on. Let's go. And I'd get over it, or I'd try to get over it, and I would get help, or just, you know, focus on the positive. And one of the things that best came out of the show was that I was always a people pleaser. And if I just met you somewhere, I wasn't the type of person that after you and I were friends and I would see you at a crowded party and you were at one end, I'll be like, oh, look at him, David. I'm going to wait till he comes say hi to me. And I'm like, oh, you know what? Get over yourself. I see you at a crowded room. If I finish saying hi to someone, I'm going to walk over to where you are and say hi to you. That whole diva attitude of like, well, they have to come say hi to me. You know what? I would do it. And that was always me. And if for whatever reason, let's say you had met me and didn't like me, I was like, okay, no, I'm going to do whatever I can to make sure he likes me because I'm a nice person. And when I got to the show, I remember speaking to somebody halfway into the season. It was a woman, and God forgive me, I can't remember who it was because I want to thank them. I'll never forget, I was talking to them and they were like, wait a second. Okay, you're having this problem with half of these women that they're criticizing you just for being nice. Why are you still trying to be nice to them? You know, and all of a sudden I was like, I stayed quiet, and they're like, all of a sudden she said this with like a snippety attitude, but in a good way. I realized what she was doing. She goes, who do you think you are? And I go, excuse me? She goes, yeah, who do you think you are? You think you're better than everyone? And I'm like, okay, why is she doing this to me?
Yeah.
We weren't filming. This isn't private conversation. And I'll never forget, she goes to me, you think you're better than God? And I'm like, whoa, what? And she goes to me, yeah. And I go, why are you saying this to me? She goes, because you know what, not to get religion involved, but let's, you know, this is how the conversation went.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, so God, Jesus Christ, when he was alive, was hated by millions of people, was attacked and died on a cross. And he didn't do anything and he was free of sin. So do you think you're better than him? That if he wasn't liked by everyone, how do you expect yourself to be liked? And all of a sudden, it was like a slap in the face, but a good slap in the face. It was like a wake-up call to me. I was like, whoa, no one had ever told me that or made me think of it like that. And I was like, gosh, this woman is so right. And after that, I realized, you know what? I'm going to be myself. I'm going to, you know, do whatever I can and just be me. And if you like me, wonderful. And if you don't, that's your problem. So out of that show is, I think I finally grew up and I matured in my way of thinking that, you know what, if you don't like me, I'm not going to break myself over backwards trying to convince you. And so you live a lot happier than I thought I always lived. But no, I was always trying to be complacent and trying to get everyone to like me. And I'm like, no, there's people who are not going to like you just because you're you.
Yeah.
And that was one of the best lessons that a school will never teach you. It was a life lesson.
And this woman saying this to you, you just kind of had like a light bulb moment.
Oh my gosh, it was, and I will never forget that moment. I'm so sad to say I can't remember who told me that. And I've been racking my brain and I still can't remember. One day her name and face will pop into my head. But I'm eternally grateful because it was one of those literally life-changing moments. And like I said, it's a life lesson that you can't learn in school. You can't learn in books. You just have to live it. So I
That's
think
true. I mean, it's very freeing when you're just like, I don't give a fuck if anyone likes me. It really is.
it really is. It really is. And I just felt liberated. And after that show, I'm like, wow, I'm actually happier than I thought I always was. Because
Yeah.
I live my life. I try not to do harm. If I ever, do harm, because I'm not perfect, I will never always do it unintentionally. And if I do ever hurt you, please tell me and I'll apologize if it's something that I did that I didn't notice. But I'll never be, and I don't think I've ever been a mean girl, ever try to put somebody down just because. And I don't think I have ever done that.
That's good. I
Yeah.
mean, did you watch the show during the first season, like when you weren't on it?
I did because I had, acquaintances on the show. I knew people. So I did watch it, and I'll tell you, I would cringe. I would cringe. So much so that when my publicist at that time came up to me and said, "Hey, they're doing a casting, thinking of revamping and renewing the Housewives show. Are you interested in doing it?" And I'm like, "You want me to do what?" I literally said, "You're crazy." And she was like, "Well, think about it." And then she pointed out a lot of positives that can come out of it. And I was like, okay, I'll have to look at the big picture, not focus at, just on that. And I was able to do it, thank God. But you just realize how, I hate to say this, I don't want to sound,
You could say it.
yeah, but it's incredible how petty these and superficial and these women are, that all they care is about fame. And all they care about is bringing drama to the game where it didn't even exist, to try to make themselves more famous, because they're either married to gay men and their men don't pay attention to them, or they're married just for money and their husband is off with other women and they're bored, so they want their own fame. And they're like, they don't care if they're going to look horrible on TV, they'll just do whatever it is for fame, for acknowledgement, because they're not receiving it at their home or whatever the reason is. And it's sad. It's sad.
Who was married to a gay man?
Oh, you know exactly who it was. I'm not going to mention it now. I mentioned it in interviews and
We're talking about Miami.
Miami. Oh, yes. Oh, yeah.
I would assume you're talking about Adriana.
Well, rumors I never knew of, and rumors were said about her husband, but but yeah, one of the other women, not to whatever, but yeah,
Alexia, right? I need to Google this.
yeah.
I'm not sure who. Okay, and who was married just for money?
I'm gonna let the past in the past.
You don't want to talk about it.